Yes, thank you for having me. Great to be at NOAH, and thank you for the kind introduction, Marco, and the pitch for DeepL. I was wondering a little bit on which title to put up for this deck, and thought, well, digital, sustainable, and profitable. I think this really matches DeepL very, very well. So why just not reusing the conference's title here? And I'm going to go through with you, and then have a few questions together with Florian afterwards on like how are we digital, how are we sustainable, and maybe also a little bit how are we profitable. We see ourselves as a company that helps people communicate. We've started as a very tech-oriented company and have been evolving over the last 5 years to make sure that we not only have the technology that powers all of that, and that is obviously very, very important, but also that we can bring that at scale to people and companies, and not only to people sitting alone at home, freelancers, translators, but also to companies that need translation solutions to operate on a global scale. If you think about DeepL and how are we digital, on the outside we are digital in a way that we are enabling all of those companies to make sure that all of their use cases where translation plays kind of a little bit of a role are transformed, or that they're enabled. Going to a human translator is quite a complicated and challenging task. You have to know somebody. You have to employ an agency to get this document for NOAH translated into Ukrainian, for example. That is tricky. That takes time. It costs money. And there is a lot of those use cases where you just don't need it, or where you need this document translated right away. And this is where like the digital transformation from a translation perspective comes in. You go to DeepL, you translate this document, and you have it there right away. And this is kind of enabling a lot of use cases that just hasn't been possible before this kind of AI technology came into play. This is possible because we are digital on the inside. Our DNA, the root of the company, lies in the development of our AI technology for translation. We've been working on that for years, and we've been always making sure that we can sustain the competition out there in the market, and that we can provide the best possible translation quality. And to achieve that, it's not so easy. So the question is a little bit on how to get there. And I think sustainability is the answer to a large extent, and profitability is also the answer there. I've got this slide, how to build one of the largest websites worldwide, but at the end, it's a slide about sustainability. We've been always asking ourselves, what is the meaningful problem to be solved? And if you have a meaningful problem to be solved, you can really motivate people, and you can really do lots of things just because you have a problem that is important to this world and which people care about. And we as a company are putting a lot of effort into making sure that we are caring about our employees, that we are caring about this small society that we've built up within the company and around it, and that we are caring about the environment. All of our data centers are running on green power, and AI, as you know, is using up lots of computational and complexity. So we have to make sure, and have been since day one, making sure that this is working. And this has been paying out as an investment, and I think will also pay back in the future. And then about profitability, how to achieve profitability, you have to really focus on performance. You have to work hard. You have to make sure you don't get distracted. I'm not often at conferences like these, and this is just because we are really focused on making sure that our product delivers what is necessary for our users and customers, and that we stay in that way also cost efficient and are able to get there. And as this kind of digital growth, as this kind of technological growth has been the basis for us, we've been always making sure that we are doing this kind of academic level research and that we are pushing this whole field of machine translation forward, but doing so with extreme product focus, with making sure that every hour that we are putting into the development of the AI technology is really going into the product and making the experience for our users better. All of that paired with like this meaningful product allows us to hire better, and with the know-how that we're having allows us to operate data centers very efficiently and therefore be on the profitability side. We think of ourselves as not only about translation. I think we do think of ourselves as enabling communication globally. Translation is a big part of that, but we are also looking ahead into different projects that we can go, that we can enable with our AI technology, and there's definitely some new products coming up from us early next year that you can count on in that space. Thank you very much, and Florian, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. So, Jarek, you have been looking into the future with the last slide a bit, but one of the questions was profitability, and you
yeah, I maneuvered around.
Tweak around it. We never publish revenue or profitability numbers and so on. But another good metric to share might be FTEs and FTE growth, right? And here, could you share how many people were you at DeepL before the pandemic, end of 19, and today, and how much next year, end of next year?
Yeah, I think before the pandemic, we've been like 40, 50 people. That was our last offsite that we did before the pandemic, and we've been like 40 people going there, which already looked like a lot, to be honest. Right now, we are at above 400. We just crossed that line a few weeks ago, I think. Which is an amazing growth path that we went through. It's really great to see so many new people on board of the company and so many different skills, and that goes like really line in line with the development of the company into new directions, not only focusing on technology, but putting this together as a package.
With an amazing spirit. I thought I knew the company well, but when I've been at this event, I thought this is just beyond everything. So, Jarek, if you think down the road 5 years, how will the company and its products look like?
That's a very, very tough question for somebody who has built up this company from zero to the point where we are right now. I mean, 5 years ahead is just basically as if you would ask somebody who's 20 years old how he's going to look like when he's 40. And I think that's a question nobody can really answer, so a hard one. No, I really think that we are moving as a company towards like providing this kind of layer on the internet that drives communication and that helps companies to go global, communicate better, both internationally but also within countries, and focusing more and more on companies. This is where we see most of the needs for a really professional communication, and this is definitely where the company is going to be working towards.
So, last question. If you feel your inner self and imagine DeepL is a public company, how does that feel? That feels amazing, I think, but also a little bit scary. I'm not gonna hide that. I think the requirements, both on the company and the organization, but also on the CEO of a public company versus a small startup company, are so totally different. If you're a startup company, what counts most is getting things done very, very quickly without looking around, getting the 80% done. When you're looking towards a public company, things like predictability and the ability to look forward and make sure that the large organization is working. These are totally different comparing to what a startup is. So you have really to learn a lot.
Thank you, dear Jarek. You are learning tremendously fast. I envy you for this quietly. You are one of those superheroes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And